are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
you are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live Wonder? No, Podchaser, Spreaker, you name it, I'm there. Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. Because there's no gossip on this show, no scandal, no talking about the headlines that are always bleeding. If it bleeds, it leads. Instead, I want to balance out all the bad news out there that's so readily available with some good news about you, about the world, about everything that life has to offer. So I'm glad you're here. I have topics and guests all week. I'm so excited this week. Actually, Asian Oprah giveaway. I'm going to be giving away tickets thanks to one of my longtime show sponsors, the Saban Theater, and Where Music Meets the Soul Productions. My guy Dana just offered tickets to Wayne Newton and Engelbert Humperdinck. So stay tuned all week while I give those away. And it is today Mental Health Matters Mondays. That is a series that I, because I'm so fortunate to have very many guests and very many co-hosts now, I reserve Monday for myself so that I can splatter on you ideas and tools and ways in which you can feel better that have nothing to do with ingesting a pill or going shopping or having a Krispy Kreme donut. Instead, it's taking back your mind, taking back the strongest tool you have in life, which is the word choice. And yes, today's Asian Oprah giveaway is an audiobook copy of my #1 best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. Let's see if I look like my picture. And you get the audiobook version today if you're the first 8 people to go to drmarissa.life and say, I want more happiness. All right. And as usual, oh, good. Tony Bocelli is in studio. You can definitely see him every Friday night. I've been a guest on his show, and he's been a co-host here, a guest co-host, a substitute co-host, and I do enjoy having him. If you are not driving, if you're listening to the AM, FM while you're driving, please do not try to participate in the show. But if you're not driving, please do go to my YouTube free subscribe TV channel. And that way you can type in and any questions or clarifications or make a joke or try to distract me. So that is the drill this morning. And let's see, we have something else here. Oh, wow. That is pretty darn good. I haven't even said join me for breakfast, and I already have a gratitude. Those of you who don't know about having breakfast with me every weekday morning, it is an exercise where you specifically, instead of thinking about all the headlines in the news and the bad news that make you feel bad, what do you like about life? What are you grateful for? So that's called taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. We start the show every day with that to anchor in the positive thinking. So what are some things that you are grateful for? That's the top of the bun. We'll do 8 altogether. And then the bottom of the bun is, what do you like about yourself? Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? All right, so my casting gallery and my sound engineer Frank have already kicked it off. Let's see, Troy Pacelli is grateful for a new week, still gainfully employed. You can tell I still have like a tinge of my jet lag flying back from Australia last week. And let's see if I can put you, I can't put you on here, Frank, for some reason, but I can certainly read. Let's see, they don't allow you to put private chat. So Frank is grateful for music, and he's grateful to have made room to get my digital piano set back up so you can practice again. You're one step ahead of me. Apparently, I got that for Christmas, but it has not arrived here. So we can do dueling remote pianos there, Frank, because I also would like to refresh myself tickling the 88 ivories. All right, so that we've got 1, 2, 3 gratitudes, 4 gratitudes. I'm grateful for the rain that we always need in Southern California. And it never rains in Southern California. And that's a lie. It's great. I get to break out my very fashionable rubber boots. That's 5. Let's see if Troy has any more gratitudes here. Let's see. He's grateful for any mental health that he can boost or boast of today. That's 6. I am grateful for the best compliment that I got while I was down under, and that was in New Zealand, not in Australia. I was lost, asked a passing couple out of the blue to direct me, and they asked me who I was, and I told them, and she stopped and said, I know you. Apparently her life coach, the #1 coach in New Zealand, and I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find it right now, who I'd never heard of, but she knows me through social media. And she says that she refers me to all of her clients. The #1 life coach in New Zealand refers me to all of her peeps to tune in on all platforms because of the message that I have, and that I am incredibly grateful for. Who knew? So I mean, it was nice in Australia. I was recognized at Bondi Beach and another place for my interviews with Halle Berry and John Travolta. But I mean, that's nice, but that really, the one in New Zealand was one I'm going to be grateful for a long time. All right, so that's 7, 8. I think that is it. All right, let's go to the bottom of the button. The bottom of the button is a little different from gratitude. It's called appreciation. And my way of distinguishing the two, gratitude is for good things around you, and appreciation is for good things inside of you. Most of us grew up saying, don't toot your own horn. You're not all that. Don't brag. All those things. And I am Chinese, even though you thought I was Swedish. In Chinese and Japanese, there's actually a saying that says, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So not a lot of motivation to say what's good about yourself. But as a result of that, we are very hard on ourselves. A lot of us, I speak everywhere, and I will ask the question when I'm speaking on happiness, how many of you have a voice in your head that tells you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have said that, and every hand in the audience will go up, regardless of background, regardless of age. It comes up somewhere around age 8 to 10 when we start having that voice that criticizes us, that says, I am my own worst critic. I'm not harder on anyone than I am on myself. And that is not a good thing, because especially during COVID, especially when there's so much things happening around us that are not good, that are presented to us, it's really easy to stay in that place where you can't fall asleep because you're thinking about all the things you didn't get done, all the things you lost during COVID, all the things that are not right with yourself. And as a result, a lot of people have sleeplessness. So this takes a little time. It takes a little practice. But if you can isolate 8 specific things that you like about yourself and fall asleep on that, that's why it's the bottom of the bun. We're going to model that for you now with appreciations between Troy and myself and Frank and anybody else who wants to play. We will begin to work that muscle of self-love, self-approval, self-soothing, which is, I believe, the fundamental hallmark and foundation of good mental health. All right, here we go. Troy says he appreciates that he keeps trying. Like I keep trying to think of things about myself I appreciate. So try is good. Although you don't try to pick up a pencil. You either pick up the pencil or you don't. So with practice and with putting that critic in the passenger seat of your car instead of the driver's seat, that's how it will happen. So whenever I am hearing, if I wake up with a fat and ugly attack and I hear that voice saying, oh, you're just never going to be enough, or you're never going to be thin enough, you're never going to lose the weight you want, you're never going to look like you used to when you modeled, I just say, thank you very much. That's your opinion. It's not helping me wake up in a good mood. Have a seat in the passenger seat. You've got to be tired. You've been yelling at me for a long time. And, I'm good. I'm okay. I appreciate, like Troy, that I am resilient, that no matter how many times I fall off, I get back up. I appreciate that I am better at taking compliments. I appreciate that I have reunited with my ability to flirt. Those of you who have been following know that I'm actually starting to date again. First time in 7 years, 6 months, 5 weeks, 4 days, 2 hours, and a second, but who's counting? I think my trip to Australia sort of, made me pull up some of those funny swiping apps. But anyways, so I appreciate my ability to flirt. And let's see, anybody else? Frank? You want to chime in on what you appreciate? I also appreciate my ability to laugh out loud, no matter who is not laughing. I appreciate my ability to grow. I appreciate my ability to, I would like to lose my ability to be pissed off and hate. And I appreciate my ability to be loving, lovable, and loved. And that's it. For the bottom of the bun, thanks for joining me in breakfast with Dr. Marissa this morning, Troy, and also Frank. And I see the eyeballs rolling in. Thanks for joining me here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and it is hashtag Mental Health Matters Mondays. And we just started with one of the tools that I use to help you feel better, and that is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. I promise you, if you do this little exercise for 28 consecutive days, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. And I don't know about you, it does kind of feel better when you are feeling good than it is when you are pissed off, angry, grumpy, etc. So thanks for having breakfast with me. So what's the topic for today's hashtag Mental Health Awareness Matters Day? I wanted to tackle one of my favorite acronyms. It's called How Are You? And that's our American way of sort of connecting. And the most common answer is I'm good or I'm fine. And The odd person will say, do you really want to know? Or how are you? Do you have time to really find out? So that's usually the extent of this end. I'm fine, I'm good, which really doesn't mean anything. Now, what is it that you want? That's the formalities of being just, nice. However, when you're saying fine, and especially if you're saying I'm fine, what does that fine really mean? That, and my favorite is effed up. Can't say that word. I'll get a $20,000 fine thanks to the FCC regulations on this channel since we are NBC News Radio. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm really not fine. I am effed up. I stands for irrational. N stands for neurotic. And E stands for emotional. So fine is really not fun. And my favorite example of the sentiment of fine is, if you remember, if you're a Seinfeld fan and you remember, the soup Nazi, or if you have a quarter, or the ugly faced woman, one of the ones that I actually remember a lot is when George Costanza's dad says, "Serenity now," through the entire episode. Anytime anything bothered him, he would say, "Serenity now," when he obviously was not serene. By the end of the pent up anger, by the end of the episode, he took a bat and destroyed like $1 million worth of his computer store that he was, that was his new business. So it's a nice visual if you can relate to me. I don't know, Troy, if you are a Seinfeld fan, if you remember that particular episode, but that particular episode marks the result that you get in your life if you continue to pretend that nothing is wrong by saying, "I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I can't change it. I'm fine. Just move on. What is it you want? What are you complaining about? What do you need from me now? Just get it over with. Just, add to my sucky day." So if that rings a familiar bell, maybe not yourself, maybe someone you're dealing with that says, "I'm fine" all the time, and you just know that that's a signal to duck into the bathroom so you don't have to talk to them, then this episode is for you. So we'll start with yourself. How many of you are really fine? And let's just define fine. Didn't mean to do that one. So what is the norm? And people ask me all the time, "Dr. Marissa, are you saying that I should be happy 100% of the time?" And my answer is absolutely not, because then you'd be dead. It is not humanly possible, nor is the expectation for you to be happy 100% of the time, because you can't be. If you're happy 100% of the time, you don't have the contrast to know if you're happy or not. Even 99% is stretching it. I use the goal of 88% happy. So my question to you right now is, on a scale of 1 to 100, what number are you? And unless you have a discipline right now, I'm sure a lot of us are pretty more happy because you're listening to me. We just had breakfast together. We've highlighted gratitude and appreciation. So compared to when you woke up and maybe something hit you, maybe someone hit you, maybe you heard something and you were not happy. Now I hope you've ramped up a little bit, but how do you manage your own happiness so that you're not fine, but you're happy? And when people ask me how I am, I say, I'm happy. And which in and of itself is another tool. I dig, even when I'm not feeling happy, I look at the part of me that is happy and I say I'm happy. I'm not lying, right? But nobody needs to know the percent happiness. I'm almost always 50% happy. I think those of you, I think, Troy, when you said, I am happy that this is a new week, I'm happy to be alive, that's 50%, right? Then the 88% is what we're working at getting to. Now, before I go to your comment, Troy, before I forget, because I've run out of memory space in my hardware here. I need an external memory hard drive. But the 88 comes from 8. I mentioned before, you thought I was Swedish. Chinese, in Mandarin, 8. Fa is a homophone for fa, which is good fortune. So I say, I want to be 88, double good fortune, percent happy. And that's the goal that I have when I speak on stage, when I work in happiness coaching, whenever I'm talking to you. I am asking myself, does the thought and or interaction and or conversation and or argument I'm having deliver 88% happiness or less? Because I want to not strive. Strive is another word that creates unhappiness. If you're striving for something, you're pushing. That's not a high vibrating energy. You want that not even keel either. Let's talk about that for a second. I have a lot of people who say, I don't want to feel like I'm bobbing on emotions, right? I don't want like this bipolar kind of living where I'm really high or really low. And my reaction to that is even keel, while it sounds good, and it was actually, I think, made up by in the workplace or by men, who were uncomfortable with the word emotional. They were uncomfortable with emotion, but the irony is in the workplace, because I'm an organizational psychologist by education, that's where the doctor comes from. It's interesting that men are allowed to be angry at work. You're either fine or you're angry, and you can have justified anger and blow up at a situation that used to be tolerated and actually seen as, ooh, he's being a man. Thank goodness in my field of organizational psychology, we are removing that as a leadership quality and saying that is not good leadership. But when a woman becomes emotional, I know a lot of women who, when they get angry, they cry and they apologize. And I tell everyone not to ever apologize when you're crying, because it means that your heart's open and you're actually connecting, and tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. So that even keel means really you're not living, right? Because emotions are not like you can cut out negative emotions and only feel positive emotions. It doesn't work like that. It's like a dumbwaiter. So, those doors in the old buildings, dumbwaiter doors close like this. So if you're even keel, you're not feeling anything. Because if you don't feel the lower feelings, anger, depression, frustration, anxiety, fear, then you cannot feel the higher level emotions: happiness, joy, exhilaration, bliss, peace, wonder. You close yourself off. So even keel, in my opinion, is not a goal to have. Our goal is to have and feel fully whatever our emotion is in a way that doesn't hurt others nor hurt ourselves. And by the way, but if I run out of time tomorrow, I have a great guest who's coming on, Tamra, She is the wife of Jim Meskimen, who was on my show, who you'll remember is the son of one of my favorite people in the world, Marion Ross. And she has an acting school that does not run on criticism. Now that I want to hear about. So that negative emotion of, being frustrated, angry, fearful, pissed off, if you don't feel those things, you're not going to be able to feel joyous, happy, wonderful. But how do we do that safely, right? Because you don't want to kill anybody with your anger, nor shoot yourself in the foot at work by showing that. And then, you can't unring a bell. So that self-discipline in being able to fully feel your feelings, exercise your ability to feel fully, and then pivot or turn to a better feeling thought. That's the Happy 88 tool that has helped me stay in that place. Why do I even want you to be happy 88% of the time? Why is it important to be happy 88% of the time? Well, first of all, it feels better. I don't know. Yeah, being pissed off for a moment when someone says something mean or cuts you off, and you get your, read between the line fingers up and you talk to the driver in your car. It may feel good in that moment. But if you have kids in the car or that person starts following you and trying to hurt you, probably not the greatest reaction to be public. So feel the feeling safely. And then what is the better feeling thought? Let me go to Troy here. Like a pressure relief valve on a water heater, otherwise you'll explode. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't put this up earlier. I think you were talking to my example of, what's his name? I just saw him on stage, Jason Alexander, George Costanza. I know George Costanza more than Jason Alexander, his dad in that Seinfeld episode. Yes, if we do not release the negative energy, that's the next step. So first is be okay with negative energy. Second is express it safely where you're not hurting someone or yourself. And third is make sure you release it. A lot of people don't release their negative energy, and that builds and builds and builds, and then you explode. And those explosions usually have negative consequences. So how do you let out negative energy? So let's give a really good practical example. When I used to have a TV, I'd wake up in the morning, I get the coffee set up, I turn the TV on, and now that's being replaced with MS, by the way, meaningless scrolling. And be honest, the things that catch your attention are usually the things that are, oh, I can't believe that, or really, or that's horrible, or how could they do that, or the world is going to heck in a handbasket. So the negative things that we react to and have that horrible feeling around, that's how I used to wake up. It took me a little while to realize that if I didn't turn the TV on, if I didn't do MS, meaningless scrolling, I wouldn't have that negative input right away. So the Happy 88 tool is to plug this little guy or get rid of your TV. Yes, I do still stream on my computer, but I'll tell you, I have that it really does help my happiness if I don't tune into all of the negative news out there. Okay, so practical tool, plug this out somewhere, not your bedside table. Now, when you do have something happen, and let me do a station ID before I forget. If you're just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio, I am Dr. Marissa. You are tuned in to Take My Advice on Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. the morning show here on KCAA, celebrating 25 years, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. And you can also get this show on all the platforms. You can listen, but if you want to watch and listen, if you're a visual person, then free subscribe on my YouTube channel, where you will not only find all 1,091 podcast shows, but who's counting? Here, 611 consecutive weeks on the air, on camera. You can also get my playlist, my red carpet playlist, with my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, John Paul Dorio, the billionaire, used to be, he's got a vodka company now, and all of that. And for those of you who didn't know this, he supports the Salvation Army because he was homeless, and the Salvation Army helped him. But anyways, all of those interviews you can get on my free subscribed YouTube channel. And the best part is you'll get an alert every weekday morning that I'm about to come on live. All right, so we're talking, it's Mental Health Matters Mondays. We've been talking about Happy 88 tools to use so that you are not fine, effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional, but actually fine or happy, 88% happy. How do you recover from something that is not happy making? So that's the next part of this little coaching session, happiness coaching session. And that is, it's a discipline. And I'm not asking you to go from, someone does something to you that doesn't feel good, insults you, you find out they're talking behind your back, they steal from you, they betray you, they disappoint you, all of the things that happen every single working day, unless you live on a desert island by yourself. It is just, you're not going to hit everybody when they are in their 88% happiness. You're going to hit them sometimes in their 12% humanness, as well as you're going to hit me in my 12% humanness. But I realized yesterday when I was at Agape International Spiritual Center, which is my spiritual home, my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, said to me, because he knows me very well. We're going on 15 years of him being one of my teachers, and he knows that I still do sometimes believe that I can live on a desert island, and I do hold grudges. And when people have done something to me in the past, it's really difficult for me to see them with new eyes. And he shared yesterday about his own growth, which I love about him. He's not perfect, and he will, admit to or share, that he went through a little dark period, dark night of the soul, we call it. I went through that too. We go through it multiple times in our life. Nobody is perfect, and we cannot grow unless we go into that cocoon sometimes. So his sharing was he finally could now accept and let people and receive the love that people give him. And that was huge, because I noticed that he used to get really uncomfortable if you thanked him or said, thank you so much, or I love you, thank you for what you've done for me. And my difficulty is letting go of that old hurt. And I've realized that is blocking me from allowing more good to come into my life. I'm happy with my life. I love my life. You all know that. You see on my social media, that's not acting. If I'm not feeling good, I just don't post, right? That's not saying that the one time I post a day is the only time I'm happy, but I have a discipline to find that best feeling thought. And my strategy when someone does something bad is to disengage with them and sort of isolate them out of my life. And I'm realizing that that action is still blocking me from being open to everything because I've got a little bit of this going and a little bit of the protective, you better not hurt me again. So, I'm going to keep you way over there. And it really does feel good to come from love. So that's the balance challenge for today. If you really want to feel fine, can you identify who you really are? So we are all one of a kind, wonderful. I believe I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and I believe that we are all full expressions of the quantum soup of love. Like love is the highest energy. When we are born, we come from that place, wherever that is, and we go back to that place of pure, unadulterated warmth, love, peace. That's where we come from. And when we come into life, we kind of forget that's where we came from and get all caught up in, oh, they did this to me or that happened to me and how could they? So the progression of the questions that keep me unhappy are, how could they? Why would they? And why me? So I go from this righteous indignation. How could they do that to me? How could they say that about me? How could they betray me? How could they say those horrible things? How could they? They're my mom. Mom shouldn't do that. Friends shouldn't do that. That how could you? Righteous indignation. There's anger, bitterness, resentment. Okay, doesn't make you feel good. Then the second question that sort of anchors that negativity is, why would they? Now that's a little less anger and more like philosophizing and trying to figure it out. And when you try to figure out something that's negative, guess what? You just go deeper into that negative. Learn that from the law of attraction. Thank you very much, Abraham Hicks. Esther and Jerry's message of Abraham through them. Whatever you focus on will grow bigger. So that series of questions, how could you, why would you, and why, just take it down. So I try to eliminate the energy or the progression in trying to figure out anything negative. When something or someone does something to me negative, I resist the temptation to figure it out. Because when I do, I become this low vibrating like Thor, but in a bad way, where I'm literally waiting for another hit. So that's a happy 88 tool. If you're a person, when someone says something, does something to you, and the first thing you do is pick up the phone, call someone, and say, you're not going to believe what so-and-so said or so-and-so did. You do that, and you're already going down I call it the labyrinth of shiitake. You're going in there. So resist the urge to do that. Stop, take a breath, and release. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Second breath in. Releasing all the stories and the drama. And that is drama, activating the mind. And the last breath, connecting with me through chi, eternal energy, the breath of life. That connects us to that love energy, that connects us to the energy that created every single grain of sand and drop of water and blade of grass and leaf on tree to be different. That's some power. That's some creative force. And when I'm connected to that and I remember who I really am, I am not an angry person. I'm a loving person 88% of the time. I am a caring person 88% of the time. I'm an understanding person. Maybe they are in their 12%. But I know for a fact that if I go down that labyrinth of shiitake, I will not be closer to who I really am. I'll be further away from it. I will forget who I really am. And that I want to anchor here, not for you necessarily, but for me, because it really was one of those moments of clarity that I had yesterday. I'm getting a little emotional, which is okay. Tears of the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. I realized how I'm hurting me by carrying the bitterness from the past. Now, you all know I forgive on a regular basis the big violators. My mom, my husband, right? That's a constant forgiveness. It's an act of forgiveness, not for them, but for me to make me feel good. But I realized yesterday there's some minor violators in my life who I have not forgiven, not for them, but for me. And recognizing that that unforgiveness for the minors is hurting me. I'm not doing it because I want to be Thor and get the good stuff. It's not a manipulation. It truly is finding a way to shift the blocks so that I'm kind of like releasing them like a blood clot, not to go and kill me, but like the heparin did to my blood clot, is reduce the blockage, reduce the constriction, reduce the doorway that limits my ability to be loving, lovable, and loved. And I get that you heard that. I just saw the heart. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you got that. You know, that's why I'm doing this. You manifested this message, whoever that was, because you asked. And if we're all, what would our world be like if every single one of us, every moment of the day said, how am I feeling right now? Am I feeling 88% good? Am I feeling 88% loving? If not, what do I need to do to get there? Not because I'm trying to make anything happen, but for the sheer enjoyment of feeling good. That's the question. How do I make my mental health matter? How do I feel better? How do I improve and take responsibility for my own mental health? Not by reaching for the Krispy Kreme donut, not by reaching for that temporary drug that will mask what I'm feeling, but truly going deep into who you really are. Who are you really? So when I'm swiping on Bumble, if I see an agnostic or an atheist, that's a swipe left automatically. Why? Because I know that the core BS belief system that I hold that makes my life happy 88% of the time is I know who I really am, where I came from, which is that quantum soup power, most powerful energy of the world, love. And when I die, that's where I go. When everybody that I know that dies goes, and that's where I come from. So that is my soapbox today for Mental Health Matter Monday. I want to remind you, let's see. Nikki, I'm so glad to see you here. I saw you yesterday in the stream. Always nice to see familiar faces and names, although I didn't see your face then. I see it now. I'm super glad that you're here. Wasn't that a powerful service yesterday? A powerful talk from my big brother and what he shared. And I just love the fact that we get to, have such a great teacher. All right, darn it. Now I want a Krispy Kreme, Troy's humor, which keeps him alive and enjoying his life. Absolutely. Yeah, that was part of it yesterday's reach for the donut. Yes, Nikki is saying, yes, love him and you. Oh, I love you back, Nikki. Thank you for that. Both of you, I think Troy already has my book. Nikki, I don't know if you have a free copy of my audio book of this #1 bestseller, and if you notice who the foreword wrote, it is Michael Bernard Beckwith. If you go to my drmarissa.life and put in there Asian Oprah giveaway or Mental Health Matters Mondays, I know what you're asking for, and I'll send you a link and a promo code to get that audiobook for free to the first 8 people who do that today. I also want to give a big shout out to someone I've known for, let's see, I've been on the air 11 years. I think I met her when I was first broadcasting at Universal Broadcasting Network with Tony Sweet, my dear friend who introduced me to his friend. And I thought she did a show on the network, but her brother, who I met yesterday, said he doesn't remember that part. So, but anyway, she's an actress. You may have seen her on Suits. She was the fashion designer on one of the episodes. She gave this amazing reading yesterday at the Hollywood Museum. I was invited by my favorite publicist, Harlan Ball, who invited me to a play that has been selected to be a play at a playhouse that you're going to learn more about from the playwright who I'm also bringing on. You'll know her as the wife of my past 3-time guests and one of the main characters from the iconic TV show Happy Days. Anson Williams is Ralph Malph, and he has been on, and a wonderful friend. He's a director as well as an actor, as well as a musician, and he directs this new play done by his wife, Sharon. And let me just get the right information. But I'm going to have them on, probably on a Tuesday Talent. And I just wanted to give them a shout out that, wow, I was there in the afternoon. And I'm a pretty active person. For me to sit for an hour and a half through a show is not easy. And I was riveted. The writing itself, it's called Crazy Mama. And it's a story of love and madness. Emmy winner Carolyn Hennessy, she's amazing. Here, let me pull this up for you so that you can, keep an eye out, support her, go to her social. And let's see if you can see this. If I can, this is Carolyn, there's Anson, and there is his beautiful wife, Sharon Scott Williams, who wrote this amazing short play. So let's see if I can move this over. No, probably not. Let's see how that looks. Oh, you can sort of see it. So that is what I really wanted to just appreciate. I'm going to try to get that social out today with some highlights from that play. But, I when I see something good, I want to highlight and promote it for you. So keep your eyes out for Crazy Mama. Also, I wanted to let you know that I'll be giving away this week tickets to the Saban Theater production that is one of my show sponsors, and I will share that right now. How many of you, I know this is going to date you, and I got to find out how old he is. Saturday, February 10th is Engelbert Humperdinck. Let's see, how old is he? How old is Engelbert? I don't think I need to put Humperdinck in. He's 87. He is still performing. I did see him a few years back. Very, very entertaining. I'm going to give 2 pair of tickets away every week. I think I got 6 pairs until February. Oh, I'm going to have to give 2. This is on February the 10th. Which is not that long, far away. So you need a good date, a place to take your Valentine's date. Please stay tuned. I'm not going to tell you when I'm giving them away, but I will be giving them away this week all the way up to February 10th. As well, there's going to be another pair of tickets to, am I running out of time? Let's see. Yeah, I'm running out of time. Wayne Newton, I'll talk about that. Well, no, I have 5 minutes. Here we go. Let's see. Wayne Newton is also coming. When is he coming? Here we go. March 29th. So we have a little time. I won't give those out until mid February, but I just found out. So I wanted to let you know. Wayne Newton, up close and personal, 65 years and counting, show like he's never done before. Signature song, Danke schön, and he's had countless other hit singles. So yeah, I know this is for my wise set of listeners, but youngins, I know some youngins that appreciate really good music from the past. If you are anywhere in Southern California, you can get those free tickets, and they're not cheap. So keep it tuned here. I think we have a comment in the, oh, guess who's here? We've got Dr. Omega. Anson is a prolific director. He's done a lot of TV, including several episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager, which is the favorite topic of the my capture gallery that is dominated by Troy, PJ, and now Dr. Omega. Welcome to the show. I always wondered if Ingle Humperdinck was related to Prince Humperdinck from The Princess Bride. I don't know. Something to ask my assistant Google. And Wayne Newton played a hilarious parody of himself in Vegas Vacation. I haven't watched that. I will try to take a listen. Thanks for those comments. And thank you, Cashew Gallery, for being a great part of my show. We have 3 minutes left. Final word for my Mental Health Monday Matters. Come from love. If you want to feel fine or happy 88% of the time, don't come from that analytical, how could you, why would you, why me place. Come from remembering who you really are. Love, loving, and lovable, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness, as we all are. If we all asked, how can we feel better in this moment, and then anchored ourselves in the love that we are, I promise you, you will be fine. You'll be more than fine. You'll be 88% happy. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. Oh, I have a little more time than I thought I did. What else did I want to say? Oh, tomorrow, please do come tomorrow. I have a very special guest. Her name is Tamra Meskimen. And she's the wife of Jim Meskimen, the very talented impressionist and son of the incredible Marion Ross, the mom from Happy Days. I'm sure Dr. Omega probably knows something about her too. She's one of my favorite people in life. She came on the show earlier this year. She came to my studio live at 89 and came back at 93 and gave us a wish. If you missed that show, please do go to my YouTube channel, please subscribe and find it. Thank you so much for joining me today. As usual, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.